Finally, we arrived at Jekyll Island, Georgia, having made the last part of the trip through a marsh on a ferry boat captained by a man quaintly called Charon, after the Greek ferryman of the dead. John Pierpont Morgan reputedly owned all but a small part of Jekyll Island, but it is also alleged that a group of financiers purchased the island in 1886 on the advice of two doctors from Johns Hopkins University, hired to find a healthful place for a seaside resort. A little snippet from James Shelby Downard's The Cornels of Life and Death. A very fascinating story. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth. I want to talk about Randy Quaid and the Star Whackers story. I would like to plug Psyop Radio with Smiles Lewis and Mac White. I'll post a link to that radio show, the internet radio show. I believe they're on American Freedom Radio. In any case, I was listening to their latest episode today, and they talked about Randy Quaid and some of the history of the nefarious activities in Hollywood. Now, let's be clear about this right off the bat, okay? It'd be very easy to dismiss what Randy Quaid and his wife are doing as the ravings of complete fucking lunatics. And, you know, Randy Quaid has always been a little bit off anyway. I mean, even when he was on top of his game, as it were. So, it wouldn't be a far stretch to see them be, you know, just fobbed off as a bunch of fucking nuts. Having said that, it is absolutely vitally important that you understand, and they explicated this on the radio show that I'm referring to, that there is a nefarious and dark history of Hollywood where stars and other people have been deliberately targeted for either embezzlement, fraud, outright theft, even murder. And certainly gossip and rumor and blackmail is rife in the entire industry. So there's a very dark history of Hollywood here, and I have no problem believing the idea of what Randy Quaid and his wife are alleging is actually 100% true. That this is going on, people are being murdered, people's lives are being destroyed, their money is being stolen, they're being defrauded, etc. Don't know for sure if it's happening with Randy Quaid and his wife, but the thing itself is definitely going on. Now, Randy Quaid, in one of his interviews, apparently mentioned how the gossip machine itself, the various venues where, you know, celebrity gossip is put out and pandered and sold, is actually run by the very people who are supposedly promoting the fucking stars that are, you know, trying to be respectable citizens. So, on the one hand, you have an agent trying to sell their star as someone who can do a movie, and then you have the gossip machine pouring out all the shit about them being on drugs or, you know, in rehab or, you know, fucking their life up in some way. Okay, so what the fuck is wrong with that? Talk about an incestuous fucking piece of shit. Well, there you have it. Now, in talking about some of this sort of gossipy machine that's going on, which leads to blackmail and extortion, Randy Quaid mentioned Tom Cruise and saying that his jumping up and down on the couch on the Oprah Winfrey Show, which I'm sure everybody fucking remembers, was blown way out of proportion as being some major, big, significant indication of his wacky craziness. Well, that may be true. But it also is probably true, and Randy Quaid says this was done on purpose with the intention of affecting his career negatively. And it worked. And it may be also true that Tom Cruise is a fucking nut, of course. But actually, what harm is there in jumping up and down on a couch? In reality. I mean, when you look at it on its basic fundamental level. In any case, Randy Quaid says that this was done on purpose as a way to negatively affect Tom Cruise's career, which it did, because the company he was affiliated with at that time said they did not want to be associated with a star doing crazy shit on Oprah Winfrey Show, so they dumped him. Now, I've seen some speculation online that Randy Quaid may in fact be a Scientologist, but I have not seen any firm evidence to indicate this. I think that is speculation at this point. It doesn't necessarily negate the theory that I have about this. What's going on is absolutely true. There may in fact be a turf war going on in Hollywood right now. It may have come to that point. There may be this sinister group, this cabal of people behind the scenes who are trying to manipulate and control the stars and the industry itself for money and their own benefit, while at the same time you have the cult of the stars, Scientology, gaining more influence in Hollywood. And there may be a clash between these two. And it is my belief that Tom Cruise and other very prominent actors who seemingly are intelligent people join Scientology merely for the protection that it gives them. Because everybody knows if you're an ex-member of Scientologists that goes against the fucking organization, they drop on you like a ton of fucking bricks. So, why would seemingly intelligent people who have to realize that this bogus religion is full of a bunch of psychobabble fucking nonsense, bullshit from a failed sci-fi writer and someone who had mental problems of his own and nefarious occult connections too to Jack Parsons and Aleister Crowley, why would they join something so seemingly idiotic and moronic when they're not idiotic and moronic, or at least they don't seem to be, to me? Because this is a very powerful organization, and I believe that what we're talking about here is an attack from Scientology against this cabal in Hollywood. They're bumping heads, and people are being bumped off, and put through the grinder, as Randy Quaid has said. So definitely believe this is happening, and it's my theory that these people who are seemingly intelligent join Scientology, pay some money, do a little bit of scut work for them, every once in a while, and if anybody comes down on Tom Cruise or John Travolta or anything else, Scientology will descend on them like a hammer. Now, sad for them that if they decide they don't want to, contribute anymore, Scientology will be out to get them as well. So, if Randy Quaid is a member of Scientology, maybe he is trying to get away from it. But I found no evidence of that, and I stick to my previous assumption, that is that he is not, and that mentioning Tom Cruise like he did just sparked this idea in my mind, and that's what I believe is going on. The ridiculous religion of Scientology is bumping heads with the nefarious cabal behind the scenes in Hollywood. And what Randy Quaid asserts is certainly true. Whether it's actually happening to him or not is something that remains to be seen. Oh, and finally, rest assured everybody, it looks like BP did not put greed over safety. And they appear to be completely off the hook when it comes to the giant oil spill, blow-up oil volcano, Gulf of Mexico, fucked up for the rest of our fucking human existence, murderous, death, health hazard. So, good for you, BP. Great job. Thank you. Good night.